Evening, Tony. How are you? I can always say that before he gets here because he's here before I am. He's like he's hiding behind the curtain. Have I finished my coffee? I haven't. Yes, just see if she wants to stay over a couple of nights or something, just so she can sleep. Yeah. We could just keep an eye out for Bub. Oh boy. It'll be cooler tonight. What is it now? 17. But you can tell it's going to be cooler. Yeah, so I've got to figure a way how to get those steps fixed. There's a little mesh underneath. I'm going to have some sort of bolt system that goes through with a plate.
Yeah, did you drill the holes?
Drill through it. Pardon?
You drilled all the holes in that wood, did you? You did that?
No, that was wood that they pulled out from here.
Oh.
So they already had the pre-drilled holes in there.
So
I'll use some of them, some I'll just plug.
Oh, you just might have to make them a bit bigger, hey?
Depends what I end up using to fix them. Some sort of swing set. Something we can take off the lawn and then put on the lawn when they're here. So something not too big.
Yeah, I don't want a big massive thing.
I'll mow the lawn tomorrow. Remind me in the morning to charge that battery up for the lawn mower. I might have to give it 2 hits, depends. Evening, Tony. No, it's not Tony, it's Scarlett. Good evening, Scarlett. Normally Tony rocks up. Maybe he's having a shower. Still warm here at the moment, 17 degrees, but we can feel the chill in the air. So it's certainly going to be cooler. I don't know why you haven't got an admin. Check. No, looks like he's... Oh, Scarlet Pillar is no longer a moderator for your channel. Okay, let's fix that. Scarlet is now a moderator for your channel. You sent me another response on the last video. Okay. I haven't read it. I've been cooking. We've had our granddaughter here. My goodness, she's 3. But she wants complete attention. Wants to play girly stuff. So the wife got involved mostly today, but I play with her. She's fun. But you forget how much energy 3-year-olds have. And they're always hungry. And the daughter is coming into milk, which is good because she was getting a bit worried. But she's now got a bit of milk to give the baby. No, they don't tire her out. They just want to keep playing games. She calls me Opa, spelt in German O-P-A. Because, even though it said Opa, it's O-P-A. Because my wife's side of the family is German. So all the grandkids on that side call me Opa, which is traditional. And all the kids on the other side of the family call me Granddad. But that's just how it is. Even my daughter-in-law calls me Opa. I think she does it so she doesn't confuse the kids, doesn't she?
No, she does it so that she won't turn around and call you by your proper name.
What, Bartholomew? What's wrong with that?
No.
Bartholomew?
She's been
Roosevelt?
She's been copied.
Lincoln? Smith? What? I have heard you. Sorry, I was talking over you.
She copied her parents when they called.
Yeah. But she likes to do that. She was leaving tonight. When her mum picked her up, she says, as she's walking to the door, I can come here anytime I like.
Yeah.
And she decided, because we've got rooms in the house, she walked into the room where she normally plays, and there is a big king single bed there. And she said, all right, this will be my room. Yeah, we all got bits and pieces that, we struggle with. That's what all families do, but collectively we care for our family, that's for sure. Not as if many have stepped up to help us in the building of this place.
No, different situation.
They're not really hands-on people when it comes to things like that. But I have a feeling the season's going to break early. We've had days of 25.
Cool at night then.
Really early. Yeah, it's been cool at night. But I'll be started off my sets of cucumbers and oxide tomatoes, other tomatoes, pumpkins and watermelons in about 2 weeks' time. One month for a hat. Is it pointed? Is it from Dorothy's show? My pretties. Cucumbers here just go berserk. We only had, I think, 5 bushes out the front, but we had about 3 flushes out of them. But they were just in rapid succession, weren't they? It was incredible. So we know we're going to have a lot of cucumbers this year, which is good because I will make my homemade bread and butter pickles. It's a pop-over or poop-over. Is that how you say it? Poop-over? You're going to poo-hat.
Oh, sorry, I'm not actually in. I was watching funny home videos.
That's fine.
So I was
Pop
sure
over.
after having the grandkids.
It's been explained to me, and it says it's a pop-over hat.
Oh, okay.
Like a muffin. Oh, you like muffins? Maybe it's a blueberry one.
Yeah, I haven't done emails like I promised either.
I just have a few pictures, please. Well, I finished painting the veranda and all the surrounds yesterday, and I cut the timber steps for the metal stairway we got. Just got to figure out how I'm going to fix them. Medieval style. I actually suggested that the other day to have a medieval Christmas, just for fun. I'll ask the other kids and see what they think.
Oh, okay, I've just got in a meeting. Okay, thanks, Scarlett. I'll keep an eye out for it. I mean, what's annoying me is I've had no update on Butty's parcel. It's really annoying. I've had one.
But it's in the UK, is it, or not? You don't know?
No, I don't know where it is. It's not. No, they haven't told me.
Oh. Well, we actually had a medieval wedding, Scarlett. That was great fun, wasn't it? Everyone had a ball.
So, and Danny's is in transit. Danny's is in America.
Mm.
And it's
She might not be home. She's
well, I don't know by the sound
cruising
of it.
around. She'll get a card.
I think she'll be home by the time it gets delivered. Hopefully.
It'll work its way out.
I just don't worry about Butty's one.
You're a history buff. What was the year of the successful French invasion of England? There you go. There's a history question. You're the only contestant for the quiz, so you should win it. That's right. Known as Norman the Bastard, 1066. It's always fun. Was always funny when I read up literally. The English didn't call Norman the Bastard. The French did, because he was out of wedlock. But they called him Norman the Bastard, not William the Conqueror.
Just want to tell you, I think, a message from Ray's wife. She's like his secretary, the guy with the fence.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Haven't forgotten this. Sorry, delay for answering, even though he rang you the other day. They're having problems finding the capping that you picked.
I don't know.
So we can always pick something else, can't we?
Well,
As long
it's
as it's a
size
capping.
related to the
Yeah.
width of the pier. King John, yes. Saviour, young John. Alfred's grandson, is that correct, Scarlett? Off memory, King John was Alfred the Great. They always gave himself good names, didn't they? Alfred the Great, yes.
So how do you want me to answer her? Like, she said,
Henry II, right. I don't know, because maybe the column may have to be smaller to fit the pier. Just give, to say I suggest possibly the column may be needed to be resized to fit the pier cap.
I think I'll just say, okay, thank you for your message. Any problems, get Ray to ring you. I think it's easier that you talk to him because he's very nice and approachable, isn't he?
I'll just tell him to give me a call tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll discuss it. I mean, that shouldn't stop them giving the quote.
Yeah, he wants to give the quote, so it's all one for you, so it's done.
Well, just I mean, before you answer, just put down that, you know, instead of a 450 pier, we can go 350 pier caps. But there's 450 pier caps as well.
They're just having problems finding that particular
All right, well,
style.
yeah, leave with them. Just say okay. SV, how are you? Hope you're doing well. John was the Magna Carta. Do you know how many Magna Cartas there were, Scarlett? That's a real tough question to answer.
No, still not.
No, it's a bit difficult because it's in the range of 7 or 8 Magna Cartas eventually. Because it's like a union agreement. No, not one, there was more. There were disputes in regards to certain issues with the Magna Carta. Magna Carta exists for a reason, but it was well fought out over many times and rejected and carried on. And I'll try and Google it while I'm talking to you. I'm curious myself now. Let's have a look. Just type in how many Magna Cartas were there. Well, here we go. So look, I said 7, didn't I?
Yeah.
17. Where are the 4 original Magna Cartas? It's still cited, I believe, in not major courts anymore, but minor courts. Apparently the Magna Carta can be raised in regards to certain issue. Which of course it was just the Great Charter. He found out Derek Ho passed away. He was only 55. I must have missed something. SV, just found out Derek Ho passed away.
Who?
I don't know Derek Ho. I'm sorry he's passed. Yeah, very vaguely, Scarlett. Structurally, yes, but there's no resemblance to Westminster in any other form, really. Of course, the Magna Carta was a fair and equality. Big wave surfer, that's no good. We lost one last week, got chomped up by a shark, sadly. Must have really pissed off the king at the time, King John, that his powers. No, I think it was over in a bay over the east coast. We lose a couple a year here, sadly. I think there's still a surfer called Irons, Australian Irons. It's a well-known surfer. He was attacked by a shark but never got bitten. Ripped into his board years ago. He died? Okay.
Who died?
Saying a surfer called Irons. We've got an Irons. Forget his first name.
I don't know, we lost another surfer, have we?
No, I don't think this is the... It must be an American surfer, I think. We got an Irons, a great surfer here. Must have been an American, I guess. Andy Irons. Yeah, I think that's an American guy, Andy. I'm trying to find the Australian guy. He wasn't taken by a shark though. Just read up on Andy Irons.
Okay. Still not sure who Andy Irons is.
It's he used to surf in the big races, like big events like Billabong and things like that. He didn't get eaten by a shark. I won't go into how he died. It's not something I want to spread online. It was sad anyway, but it wasn't a shark.
Andy. Was just his last comment. I just come into the room.
Oh, Andy has passed away, but it wasn't through a shark. We average in Australia around 16 shark attacks a year, and a third of the people that get attacked pass away. So have a good one, SV. Don't work too hard, but work safe.
Cat fight.
Yes, we have lots of sharks in Australia. Like with crocs, snakes, spiders, and many other critters. Hello, Ada. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. We should unwrap it and share it with others. South Africa's not much better than Australia, actually.
No?
They have lots of both down the east coast of South Africa and our west coast in the corner. There are shark white pointer nurseries.
What?
Thousands of them.
Nursery.
I'll show you one day the documentary where it shows you they catch and release them. But nurseries, as in that's where they do their baby thing.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what the hell you were talking about.
Well, most of the attacks are with white pointers, but also the tiger shark, the bull shark, and the white tip, which is a big reef shark.
God, I'm tired.
Which nipped me on the flipper one day. I thought I was caught on a rock. It was a white tip, just trying to take my bloody flipper off.
Yes, the renovations are still ongoing, but it's getting there.
Yeah, I was ongoing them today actually, putting in some timber steps on the metal.
Yeah, actually, that's going to look good. They're actually going to feel better, and because the grandkids commented, they sort of felt unsteady, and I said, well, it's going to be a handrail, and I think that'll
Yeah,
help.
but there was always going to be timber
And
on
because
them.
they could see through the stairs.
Yeah, but there was always going to be timber on them.
No, but you know what? Some people get that when they're walking upstairs that you can see through, even though that's not.
Can't remember the last building video we did. I haven't been making videos of all the bits and pieces I've been doing lately, except the veranda. I did that one. But we're now planning the front wall and paving at the front.
Oh, this guy that came round. From what you say, he sounds good. I hope he gives a good quote.
Yeah, I did.
Because he sounds like
I told Hanny he's probably not going to get the fence unless you come up with an extraordinary price.
Because Hanny's, I can't remember what Hanny's was.
7.2.
Just the fence.
Yeah, nothing in between.
Yeah, but we're going to organise this in between, aren't we?
Yep.
Just depends what this guy comes up with the fence, eh? He's pretty busy, this guy.
I don't
He
know
does
this guy
some
at
big
all.
renovations and big stuff and repairs and does
Oh, this Ray guy.
Yeah.
Oh, like I say, I've met him before. Seemed nice. Knew what he was talking about.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's just sometimes hard to get people that are qualified.
Evening, Jojo. Well, I mean, that railing will be about 5 at least,
Yeah, I know.
which is fine.
We know what it is.
But I expect with the wall to be around 5 to 6.
Yeah.
And with Henny on his original, it would have been 12 with pickets.
Yeah, but not, yeah.
Nothing like that. Oh, that was a good show. Hello. Do you remember that? Renee?
Yes, Renee. And
I will tell you this en nuance.
and the French policeman.
Yes, and the Englishman doing bad French. I was pissing the shit one day. If you've never seen LOLO, which is actually without the H, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
LOLO. Very funny. Yeah, so we'll... Did I mention that they'll call me tomorrow? Or?
Just waiting for her to answer.
Oh,
I just
okay.
said
Yep.
anytime that he can ring you.
Yep.
If there's a problem. I mean, it sounds like that he's trying to accommodate. And
I'll try and
look for
chase up.
what you want.
Yeah, I'll try and chase up some 440, 450 peers.
So, Mark's home. Jess will go straight. Dropping Luella off. Actually, I'll tell Jess she can go earlier. She can bring Luella to me Friday morning. I'll take them both to school. Might as well.
Yeah, but she goes to school tomorrow, doesn't she, as well?
Yeah, I'm talking about Friday. When I've got William.
I'll get Jess to pop round. I'll give her a feed at breakfast.
No, she'll probably. No, what I'm saying is drop Luella off to me, and because she's going to go to M's. Do you know what I'm saying? She was going Friday morning. 'Cause
Yeah.
She was going to drop Luella off at school.
You drop her here. She'll like to walk to the
And,
school with
yeah,
me.
and then go straight to M's.
But she'll have to get here fairly early because William goes before past her.
Yeah, I'm going to tell her to drop her at
Yeah.
7:30 because. And then if Mark can get to go to work earlier, he'll come home earlier.
So it's just going around there Friday?
Yes, in the morning, and
Okay.
we'll pop round later. You know.
Do you have any trouble getting down that road with all the works?
No, I told her what to do,
Yeah.
and yeah, she was fine. It's excitement. We got our new bins today, Scarlett. Exciting.
We got 4 bloody bins now. Unbelievable.
We've got. I've just got to teach you the system, Seeds.
No,
Yes.
I'm just going to chuck it all in one bin.
No, I will
Yeah.
teach you what's
You can
what.
recycle. Oh, the red bin, is that for my lawn clippings?
It's written on top of the bin. I have to go look again. I
Because I'll be
can't
filling it
remember.
up tomorrow.
Well, let me make sure we put it in the right bin. Oh my God, it's just a friggin' hassle putting rubbish in the bin now. Jeez.
And in the old days when you just had a bin.
Yeah, or you bury it in the backyard.
Yeah, it's true.
People used to burn their rubbish in the backyard and bury it. That's how come we found so many bottles
Yeah.
and stuff.
Oh, very common. You'd see people burn pile. But no one ever used to burn. No one ever used to burn plastic. I know
No.
that.
I don't know. At acreages they did.
No, not really. It's a no-no. I know we were watching Archie one night. She'd burn her heap. I said, "What are you doing?" "Oh, we always burn plastic."
Yeah,
I said,
and
"Well,
acreage.
that's not a good idea.
No, I'm telling you, they did used to do it round Mum's way.
Plastic emits lots of toxins. Can kill you."
Yeah, Mum and Dad used to burn most of the rubbish off because we had acreage, and Mum would just say if there was any rubbish, like food stuff, whatever, I just chuck it over the fence.
Well, you always had chooks. Everyone in the neighbourhood had chooks. There was no wasted food ever.
So it used to just become.
Like I'm pulling out the rest of that broccoli probably tomorrow,
Well, I've done all the carrots.
and normally you give it to chooks. We don't have chooks at the moment.
Yeah, you've got little broccolis. You can,
Oh no, I'll pick them up before I do that.
I'll give them to Em if you want, or for Mark, because you've got some
Oh, you
in
can
the
give them
freezer.
some frozen stuff if you
Yeah.
want. What are chooks?
Chickens. We call them
Chooky.
chooks. Chickens.
Chooks. When you go to the shop, you buy a cooked chook. When you're in the backyard, you feed your chooks scraps. I'm going to have to do a whole night of Australiana words.
We call them chooks. It's weird when you think about it. Chickens, how the word chook came for chickens.
No, it was actually people going to the shop saying, "Can I have a cooked chook?" That's where it came from. What do you mean a cooked chook? Chicken, chook, mate. Give me a chook. So did she have soup today?
To be honest, I'm not sure.
Did she eat?
I made a breakfast. Actually, to think, well, I didn't even think about that.
Chicken is used for term of endearment.
Mm.
We
Yeah,
say
it is.
things like, "Oh, how's the old chook going?"
Well, you say, hey, chook, how's the old chook going? But some people do say, hey, you going, cute little chicken. They do say that here too.
It's very common though. If you've known someone for a very long time, say you go around there for a barbecue, as you rock up, these words will be fired at you. "How you going, you old bastard?" Not meant to be an insult at all. I imagine you do. Mind you, I don't think it's the donkey you're referring to. I think it's the complete arse you're talking about. Let me guess. He's begging for money, threatening people, attacking people, and sitting in a half-darkened or nearly darkened vehicle with no shitter, eating crap, constantly slurping. Have I missed anything by not going there?
Called donkeys, Elvis.
Yes, it's not really. It's a fantastic name of a fantastic singer. Maybe you should just refer to it in the true sense. Jojo, a morbidly obese, middle-aged man that looks 65, closet gay, living in a cargo van, homeless.
Now look at that plane. That looks big and low.
Can't see it because the blind's down. I'd put them up,
Oh,
eh?
no, you put them up, but I can... It's just below the blinds.
Oh, I can't see the damn thing. We shall blind up.
Sometimes if you don't put it the right
I
angle...
wasn't watching what I was doing. I only got one of them. I have to get the other one now. I mean, in summary, there's nothing wrong with being morbidly obese except for yourself having major health issues. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with being gay. That's an accepted viewpoint these days, and there is no, not in Australia, no one hassles anyone because they're gay. Living in a cargo van with no toilets in car parks. We call them vagrants in Australia, and they're arrested or moved on. You just can't sleep in car parks. People take note and they say, no, that's not happening. You can't even sleep in a car park in Australia because if you're within 30 kilometres or about 20 mile of a van park, you have to go there. And if you're not, you will be charged with vagrancy. Yes. So he wouldn't survive here at all. If you park down one of the leafy streets in our suburbs, the police would be knocking on his door saying, what are you doing? He had no answer. Just resting my eyes on a long journey from this street to another car park. The delusion definitely runs deep. King of the free world. Well, no, you're a pauper and you have no freedoms because you moved on regularly, arrested and told to go away. Seeds, in my response, I posted a video. I do hope you will watch. You got to give me $30, Scarlett. Minimum fee if I have to watch a video.
No, 100.
I don't watch lots of videos, to be honest. I've known about the evil, corrupt, greedy people that run this planet for probably 40 years, Scarlett. I can name all the names that you go, oh, you know that guy, and you know this family. Yeah, I know them all. I know what it is, and I know what can and can't be done about it. And when you have that much wealth, you're just about untouchable. The old saying, Scarlett, as horrible as it sounds, money talks. Hello, VMAC. Oh, it's delicious. We love those vegetarian. Inside them, I think, because I pulled one apart once, there is broccoli, cabbage, spinach, carrot, obviously potato, that's what holds it together. But they're yum, they're delicious, you love them.
Yeah,
But we
actually,
often have just a vegetarian meal.
I do like those particular ones. I like to make them into a burger too.
Oh, I feel sorry with people with mental health issues. And unfortunately, YouTube is full of them. It's like someone pulled the plug on normal society and they all ended up in the YouTube drain. So it's a tube of sorts, I suppose, like a waste disposal unit. Delusion runs grand with them. And I have no problem with people doing it tough, don't get me wrong. But when it's by your own design, I don't have much sympathy. If someone couldn't work because they have no arm, or they're infirm, or they're terribly ill, yeah, I have a great deal of sympathy and empathy with them. But not when someone could work, but chooses not to. It's no sympathy or certainly no empathy. I don't think anyone deserves to be on the street. Circumstances lead to that through many things. Mental illness is one of them.
She just sent me a picture because they're still obviously trying to find and please you with the cap.
425.
She said they have that, but it's not flat. Are you okay with that?
Yep, happy with that. I'll just... That's the cap going on my pier. Don't know if you can see it. That's what it is, one of them.
I actually think that'll be better than flat.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I'm sure they were interested in me showing my pier cap. What size is it? Look like 425s.
Yeah. Yes. You're right. 425 by 425.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's well, a little fit.
It will fit?
Yep.
So I'll just say that will be fine?
Just say, yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yep.
So that the price was each, how much they were each?
About 80, I imagine.
82.50.
That's all right.
Yep, they're 425 by 425.
Yep. We're talking about a pier cap, which is very exciting, I'm sure. Everyone's getting excited about that. I've got to disappear for just a moment. I've got to go do men's business.
Yeah, just wait, phone there, I'll talk.
All right. I'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back. It's actually warmed up here. It's me. You've got to do men's business. So I think Raymac is probably getting ready for work, listening in between. About an hour ago, it got quite cool. Oh, thanks, Scarlett. Okay. I'm getting excited, looking forward to that. Oh, nice. Best colour. Nice contrast, Scarlett. Ah, you're taking a break. Well, it's fair enough. You're allowed to have a chocky break. Oh, that reminds me, I haven't had a chocolate today. Because I sort of couldn't really have one in front of the grandkids. Yes, fit for a queen, that's me. Princess. Yeah, I have tiny mini chocolates I have. Special stash that Seeds doesn't even know about, which he'll listen back to this stream now and know it. So I'm not going to tell you what it's in or where it is, because then he'll find them and then he'll eat them all. So, yeah, so don't tell him. I have special mini stash of chockies for the grandkids that I sneak them one every now and then. Their parents know. I gotta go to the toilet now. I've got to pee.
It's funny, just watching, wife's got the TV on still, and there's an Australian cop show pulling over people, you know, the sort of show. And there's this guy, camera goes in, he's got cans of beer, half open, 7 or 8 on the seat next to him. And the cop says, mate, get out of your car, you're drunk. And he says, I'm only a little bit drunk. A little bit drunk. Working since 5 a.m, my goodness, VMAC. Take a break. I mean, that's a solid 3 hours you've been working. Yeah, the bloke says, I'm just a little bit drunk. I remember seeing a show years ago, a guy pulled over, he was obviously drunk. Policeman said, have you been drinking? He said, do fish swim? Yes, just a little bit pregnant. But I can feel the chill in the air. It's dropped down from 17. Oh, it's dropped down to 16. Feels cooler than that. I don't know why, but it does. I think I told you, mate, I used to work online for about 4 hours a day. I worked for an educational book company that was selling material to professors, lecturers, universities, etc., etc. And you had good conversations, it was good, and people would buy a lot of stuff. But 4 hours, I was drag ass after that. I probably in 4 hours contacted probably be about 5 an hour, so about 20. Just mind-boggling stuff, repeating the same thing sometimes. Well, I imagine it'll be on the main news, Scarlett. Doctors having a summit, expose the virus. Well, let's just say something. Death rates in hospitals can tell you whether this is false or true, Scarlett. Just need to check them up. 1,000 fake deaths a day in the US, is that what you're suggesting for one moment? I don't think so. It should make the news. If you're saying it doesn't make the news, it's not newsworthy, it's hearsay. 1,000 people a day, 10 hours some days, 3 or 4. Yeah, that's a good thing when you get jobs like that, and I used to be the same. The person I worked with said to me, just do whatever you can each week, send me the schedules and the reports, and never any amount of time really. I don't believe you, Scarlett. The cause of the death. The biggest faux pas said this month when someone said 99% of all the COVID are harmless. Well, there are tens of thousands of people around the world still recovering with kidney failure, liver failure, eyesight, brain seizures, strokes, all attributed to the fact that each and every cell in the body gets attacked by this virus, not just the lungs. People aren't explained to what happens to you. They're burying 20-year-olds now in the US, and 30-year-olds, and 40-year-olds. No, your statement is the news is propaganda. That's your statement. Doesn't make it true. And if you do research, great. But if these doctors are going to expose the virus as a fake or a scandal, and yet there is no coverage of it, there's no lawyers involved to press the point, to subpoena, it's just all nonsense. Yeah, I respect a viewpoint. I just don't agree with something that is said, but no backing. Nothing's for it. You can get a lawyer, and you can certainly sue people that are lying. You can bring them before, in the US, you can bring them for a Senate inquiry, and you can expose it. But if it's just words and doctors getting together and nothing happening, blah, 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 and it's not going to hit any media or no lawyers involved, it's hearsay. Good. As soon as you get the lawsuits, let me know what the numbers are. I'll follow it up. Oh, there was no need for a virus to crash the global economy, Hammers. Let's be honest. It was knackered anyway. I never said I believed it. When you can bring up any time that I have ever said, Buttercup, I believe in the main media, I will send you $100,000. You'll never hear me say that. I've probably got, I don't know, 4,000 videos for you to go through. It's going to take you a while, but you're going to be disappointed. Just because you don't agree with each other shows you have a differing viewpoint. On no occasion do I espouse fact, unless it is. Siege, you said if it's true, it will make the news. No, I said if it's true, it's a fact. It would make the news if lawsuits were issued, for sure. Dr. Fauci sued by a group of doctors. Court hearing, date, procedure, file number. I'll follow that, no problem. Fauci will be arrested. So let me get it right. Fauci's going to be arrested. Everything Trump's done is truth. And Hillary Clinton will be running against Trump and lose in the coming election. Have I missed anything you've said over the last week? That's what you said. Okay. Less than 100 days, Scarlett. In fact, it's a lot less than that. In some states, postal voting starts in 42 days, or 43 days, followed by another big wag of states that can postal vote in about 55 days. So, in 40 days, Scarlett, you understand where I'm going with this? In 42 or 43 days, if Hillary is not on the ticket, she can't be elected or lose. Postal voting has been checked by many different departments within America and Europe, and there has on one or two occasions been something like 0.002%, other words, about 4,000 or 5,000 dodgy votes, like dead people. You know what I mean, Scarlett? But no. I guess who's voting by mail in this coming election, Scarlett? Postal voting is corrupt. Do you know who's voting a postal vote? Do you know who, Scarlett? That's right. Mr. Trump is postal voting. His words, not mine. Man, didn't he have an arm on him, Hammond? I mean, I was so impressed. He nearly got halfway there and went a little bit, well, a long way to the left. The best one is I heard 3 days ago Mr. Trump was going to be pitching for the New York Yankees, just like Bochy. He was going to throw the first pitch. Sensational. Unfortunately, the New York Yankees know nothing about it. And since then, Mr. Trump said, I'll be too busy to go there anyway. Chase it up. Do your research. Mr. Trump said, I will be throwing the first pitch for the New York Yankees. Yay. The people that own the New York Yankees and all the people involved know nothing about it. Maybe it was a dream. Maybe, in fact, we're all having a dream. We're going to wake up and Bobby realises it was just a dream. Don't work too hard, VMAC. let's see if you've got the conviction of your words. I will run naked down a beach
Oh,
on video
God.
with the wife chasing me behind.
No, don't
Why?
even go down that road because
Why?
it's bad enough that you're going to have to wear purple lipstick and a dress, for God's sake.
No, I'm happy to do that. But of course, if Mr. Trump doesn't win, the girls will have to do the same.
Well, it's nothing
Any
for them
takers?
to wear purple lipstick and a dress.
No, run naked down a beach.
No, don't even.
Poor old Buttercup, he ran naked down. Trying to work out, yeah, there is a sandy beach in Wales, but there's lots of pebble ones. Don't run on that. Statistically, this is based on statistics that are historical fact, okay? There's been, I think, 2 presidents that were behind who won out of a very long list of presidents. And it's all based on pre-polling. In other words, the polling like as in now, 100 days before. No one has ever won when they're 7 points behind now, 100 days before the election. Now, if you take all the media and all the polls that have been taken, the average is 12 points. Not 15 like one guy said, and not 7 like another guy said. The average is 12. Averages usually work out mathematically. So it will be the rising of the second Messiah if Trump wins, and the end of America. Welcome to fascism. I wonder if he's going to grow a little moustache if he wins. Maybe. No. A lot of internal polling by the GOP suggests 11% difference, Scarlett. Not my figures, GOP figures. Why do you think he's replaced his campaign manager? Didn't like his eyebrows? No, he blamed him for the polling at the moment. No, GOP, Buttercup, the Republican Party, their own internal polling shows a deficit of 11 points. Not mine, not Democratic, GOP. We won't know if it'll happen, but there's talk of it, of George W. Bush doing a joint telecast with Joe Biden. That's interesting. Where do you get your figures from, Scarlett? I'm not using any of my own figures. Just go look at the GOP internal polling. Maybe they're lying. Maybe the GOP's out to get Trump as well. There's lots of militia hammers in the US have threatened that if he doesn't win, there'll be a civil war. I've always come up with the question, though, if people are going to have a civil war, who are they fighting? Who's the enemy? No one comes up with an answer. I don't even know what that statement means, Scarlett. Trump is going to communism on China in the end. I needed an interpreter, I'm afraid. Oh, you don't have to respect other people's thoughts and beliefs. You can tolerate them. You don't have to respect them. If they certainly clash with reality, you don't have to. And it's going to get the campaign's going to get real nasty shortly, which I'm sure you're all aware of. It's going to get real nasty. Mush is going on behind the scenes. All right. So there's a pack of dogs pulling it. Mush, mush. Oh God, Trump has nothing to do with that system, Buttercup. He may try and claim credit for it, but between Interpol, the FBI, the CIA, Asia and Australia, and you name it, all around the world, they've been on this for decades.
You mean Scarlett said that, not Buttercup.
Oh, sorry, Scarlett. It's not a Trump thing, believe me. Well-entrenched systems to catch these bastards out works. A lot of them get thrown at you. I think in Australia in the last month there's been about 4 rings, pedophile rings, busted, and they're all in jail. Well, like I say, respect is something that is a variance on an opinion. But respect doesn't go when it's completely against the grain of what you believe is the truth. You can't respect something you don't believe in, is what I'm saying. You know, if someone says the sun is black, I'll be saying, well, no, it's sort of yellow and shiny and hurts your eyes when you look at it. No, sun's dark. You're wrong, Seeds. Well, I can't agree with you and I don't respect your opinion because you're stupid. It's not black. It's shiny and blinds you if you look at it too much. Free thought is what everyone is entitled to because it's in your own mind. Free speech, however, is being rapidly lost around the world. Especially if you're Michael Cohen, unless you sign the dotted line. So you won't print a book, won't talk about Trump in the media. I'm going to send you to jail. And then the judge says, no, you can't do that. You're impeding on Mr. Cohen's First Amendment right. That must have hurt somebody. I see the sun the same way. I've been to your country recently, Buttercup, and I've got to tell you, it's shiny and blinds you when you look at it too much, just as it does down here. But we get a lot more of it down here. Penile reduction. Oh, that's no good, Jojo. Having to endure that lifelong problem of having a too large addendum. Yeah, Cohen's guilty, don't get me wrong. No problem with that, Scarlett, we can agree on that. And he will do time. But even because he is released now, he can pen that book and get someone to finish it for him. There's a documentary on Four Corners, I think. When do they come on? Monday, isn't it? They've got a chap that went to 3 swing states, Arizona, Texas, and I think Florida. And they met up with groups in all of those states, in 3 of those states. And they are die-hard Trump. And 2 of them are militia, who've stated, for the fact, if he's not re-elected, there'll be war. Really? When I do get a link to that documentary, I will post it. But at the moment, it's not been aired. Just the preview. And it's like, seriously? You're going to go to war if someone doesn't win a political victory? Something many have lost is gut intuition. That might just be all that you have in coming to decision on anything. Well, life or death, your gut certainly works for you. Fight or flight, etc. Oh, women's intuition. obviously that's far superior to a male's intuition. I apologise. I mean, seriously. I mean, obviously women's intuition is well above a man could even contemplate. Well, that's not true, Scarlett, because Mystic and myself have differing opinions and we just go with it. That's just how it is. We're entitled to think differently and do differently. Doesn't mean someone's right. The thing about the media in general is that look, we've got to be honest here. Media exists to sell advertising to make money. And if they can put something controversial on a channel, to give you a great example, this last month, Mary Trump. I forget which channel it was on. Was it NBC? I can't remember. Or ABC, one of them, anyway. The ratings went through the roof. Apparently, worldwide, 425 million people watched it. A lot less than that, Scarlett. 6 is a number. I know what you're coming up with, but believe me, it's probably 2 real corporations, not subsidiaries or named of differently. Probably 2 main subsidiaries. See, a lot of these evil, greedy people work together. That's how it works. Michael Trump. Who's Michael Trump? She struck me as odd, but isn't women's intuition worth listening to? Her intuition is that he should leave the Oval Office, resign. That's her intuition. Obviously, she's probably, I don't know, got too many testosterone genes in her body, I'm not sure. She wasn't disinherited. She didn't get as much as she thought. No, that's untrue. It's an untrue statement. She knows her uncle really well. You make these things up sometimes, Gail. I'm not having a go at you, but you do. She doesn't know her uncle. Really? Justifying a position by saying something doesn't make it true. It just justifies you saying it to solidify your opinion. Well, if Donald Jr. said it, I suppose it's true then, Scarlett. That's the real news. No fake news there. Donald Jr. said it, must be true. I mean, it's a weird statement. Donald Trump's older brother was her father, and they were associated for a very long time. So it's not as if she didn't even meet Mr. Trump. She met him often. Yes, he was. Died way too young through alcoholism. Happens in the best of families, apparently. Yeah, I know he died of it. Yep. I've known a lot of people in my life that have died of alcoholism. It's a poison. Taken in moderation is fine, but consumption of large quantities will bring your life to an end very quickly. I think you summed it up with the last part of that sentence, Hammett. I believe alcohol is worse than any drug, I'll be honest with you. I used to deliver drug and alcohol therapy, and I can tell you that alcohol is the number one destroyer, not only of the person, but families and everyone around them. Most drug users do it on their own, silently. Alcoholism is on show for everyone. Scarlett says, Hammett Egerton, he is a true American parrot. Parrot? Oh, patriot, sorry. Old eyes, you know what it's like. So how many funerals has he been to, Scarlett, with these fake virus people? Any? Well, they're just numbers he tries to ignore. It will just go away. One day, it will just go away. It's like a fairy tale. The evil has hit Middle Earth, but it will one day just go away. That's not true. He could attend a funeral any time he chose to do so, within distance, social distance, mask, etc., showing the world and Americans that he is deeply saddened by the loss of any life. So no, he can attend. What's this? I caught a snippet of it today. I think his chief of security has fallen down with the fake virus, apparently. No, not picking at all. The truth is, Donald Trump could attend the funeral of someone who has passed away anytime he chose to. Oh, he's called many families on the phone. Anyway, I'm not going to bicker back and forward. I think he's the worst president that the country has ever had. And I can only wait and hope that the repair can be done to the Republican Party in particular, because it doesn't represent anything of the Republican Party when I first looked into it as a younger man. Yep, our state leaders have all gone to funerals of people who have sadly passed away from it. We're only a small country though.
They've actually offered state funerals for some.
Yep, state funerals for some of them. Well, that's, you're entitled to your opinion. You say Trump is the best president the United States ever had. I think he's the worst. Oh, greatest saying ever known. Time will tell, but based on what I've seen unfold over the last 3.5 years, I've summed up what I think about the person. I can't believe you just put that in the room. Unemployment at lowest level ever. I don't know what you're drinking, Scarlett. Over 140 stock market records. So you think Trump, on his own, has stopped pedophiles and created wealth for the country? Or possibly the surge that was occurring all around the world, not just the US, had something to do with it? Oh, you think Trump did all that? Oh, okay. Well, you'll find that, let's be honest, if you know the stock market at all, it's a gambling pit with the public's money. And they'll play you every 20 years, they'll take your wealth away. And there's nothing you can do about it. See, the stock market doesn't drive the economy. The economy drives the stock market. And at the moment, there's a paper mache, very thin film over all stock markets around the world, because the lag in the economy, which is collapsing all around the world, will eventually show up in the stock market, in people's 401ks and superannuation, retirement funds will be gobbled away. I wish that was true, Scarlett. Personally, wish it was true. The Federal Reserve is done, central banking done. Wouldn't they be wonderful things if they were true? The central banking system will not collapse. The Reserve Bank of America, like the Reserve Bank of Australia, has got nothing to do with national interests. They're probably run institutions. They'll never be done. Governments can't close them down unless they issue a verdict to say you are no longer going to be part of the financial system. And let's just think about it a moment. What is the US national debt at the moment, Scarlett? Have you got the finger on the pulse on that one? Because the only reason the economy in the US exists or is allowed to exist is because the Federal Reserve and the central banking system keep printing money that's not really there. Yeah, it's staggering. I once had a look at one of those clocks. I'm thinking, I don't want to watch this. This is disastrous. The debt will be erased. Sue China for lying about the virus. Nah, it's not going to work. Debt will not be erased. It can't be erased. There's not any physical policy in place for it to be erased. The only way it could be erased if someone put their finger on the button and started World War III. And then all debt is erased because there's no value left. Mark my words, I've said it for over a month now. Come September, the crunch in the economy will begin. People won't be able to stay in the rental properties that they had this holiday on, or mortgages, or loans, car payments. It's just going to go poof. There should never be any global food shortage. I think we touched on it the other night. Each country, Australia would do it, and everyone would stand up and do it. We'd have a food army. That's been reduced, Scarlett. Not sure whether you've been watching the negotiations between the Democrats and the GOP on the Hill, but I'm led to believe it's going to go from $6 to $2 or maybe $100. You can only print money so long, Scarlett, then it has no value. Trust me, there's going to be a swell of people booted out of rentals. The welfare system in America doesn't account for very much percentage-wise for low-cost housing at all. It's got more to do with the private sector, and they aren't going to put up with someone not paying their rent. You're not backed by gold. Don't know where you get this from, Scarlett. There is no US currency backed by gold. Free medical. Wouldn't that be wonderful? That'd be like Australia then, free medical. Except that's not the case. I've had friends move from Maryland to Pennsylvania in the last couple of years because they couldn't afford the medical in Maryland. Not always, Scarlett. Not always, particularly not now. In fact, I think a lot of people are not going to doctors and hospitals with normal ailments because of the virus. I'm pretty sure they're shying away from it. So, a right-wing Republican Party doesn't cut it with me. America is not a socialist state. Well, whenever yeah, sorry about that. Must be the 20,000 kilometres between us that causes that from time to time. Well, electric surgery has been put on hold in many of the hospitals in the US, as it has in Victoria. That's had a spike in the virus. COVID deaths are down, what, to 1,000 a day? Is that what you're saying? That's not really a down. I haven't seen the figures for the last 2 days, but the previous 5 were well over 1,000 a day. That's not down. I don't know where you get your down from. Yep, they are social democracies. There's yin and yang in both countries. In other words, one party will squeeze the nuts out of another one if they're pushing it too hard. They have a social justice system in regards to the welfare of their people. Hammers and I are telling you that our leaders, whether you like them or not, do actually care for the welfare of their people. I don't know where you get your figures from, Scarlett. They test someone 5 times and they count it as 5 people. So that one person died 5 times. Is that what you're saying? Oh no, now the President of Canada is dirty. Look, I said this about 4 months ago. I said the real figures we'll never know, but if you multiply them by 10, as far as the contraction of the virus, you'd be pretty close. You know, historically, they can prove what I just said because on different viruses, they've actually gone back and over different records, over different statistics, and they can say, yeah, a lot more people had it. I keep hearing you saying all these things are going to be exposed and people are going to be in jail, but I never see anything happen, Scarlett. There are still people spouting that the virus is a lie, doesn't exist. And masks are an infringement of my liberty and freedom. Yeah, I imagine the bigger states do, Hammers. That's what happens. Masks do more harm than good. Well, I'm glad you're not living in Australia and Melbourne or in Victoria, because you would eventually be arrested, Scarlett, not wearing one. I don't agree with that statement either, Buttercup. In my state, the greatest example I can give you is the April report done each year on contraction of the flu and the death related to that. Normally it's 1,100 to 1,400. That's a variance of 300, of course, and a death rate of around 40 to 50 people a year. In April of this year, only 20 people contracted the flu, mainly because they were social distancing, staying home, there was no contact. So that proves that that stopped a lot more people dying through the common flu. Why are you wearing a mask when you go into a store, Scarlett? They do more harm than good. Are you self-harming? No, that's your words. You have nothing to back up what you just said. They count the flu as COVID. They're your words. See, we disagree on some of the fundamental things that you say, because I believe a lot of them are not true. They don't count the flu as COVID. But you can get home delivery, Scarlett. You've mentioned it before. So there was one lady in Australia went to a Bunnings, which is a local hardware store here, and she just refused to wear a mask. She was booted out. The police were called. She was warned. She did the same thing in a post office. She will get fined, and if she continues to what she do, she will be sent to prison. Might be draconian, but the rest of us are wearing masks when we have to, and the rest of us aren't being dickwads. Yeah, that's right. Just imagine going into a mask into a bank in the US. I bet they're a bit cagey. Everyone's wearing a mask, boss. What do we do? Shut it down, close it down, make them use the ATM. So I have to just bring up one thing, Scarlett. You've mentioned on more than one occasion over the last month that Dr. Fauci will be arrested and charged and sent to jail. That's what you've stated. Unequivocally, that's what you've said. Dr. Fauci will be charged and sentenced for his crimes. Don't you think it a bit strange that the leader of your country supports Dr. Fauci? Is he an accomplice to these so-called charges that will come forward? Why is Mr. Trump not aware of this deception and treason by this Mr. Fauci character? Well, they do. They prove that it minimises the spread of transmission of the virus, Buttercup. Scientists in your own country were one of the first to state that clearly. So Fauci's going to be arrested for crimes against humanity, but Mr. Trump supports Fauci fully. They're his words. Where does that leave Mr. Trump in support of someone who's going to be arrested for crimes against humanity? Trump is aware. Do you have nightly talks with Donald, Scarlett? Are you not telling us something? Apparently he's aware. So Buttercup, I disagree with you totally, and so does your scientific body in the UK. That's why they push forward to wear masks. It's proven to minimise. Not at all. I'm not stating anything about Dr. Fauci. You are. But I didn't know that Trump was aware of the deception and the crimes against humanity, but continues to let him stay in his office. Oh, you're stating what you believe, so it's just your opinion. Because if Mr. Trump knew that the crimes against humanity was going to be committed by the person he supports, he would be part of the problem. And I'll repeat what I said about an hour ago. The world is full of greedy, evil, dictatorial people, narcissistic, who want control at any cost, and you and I are the people that they wanted over. Very simple. You can talk about this and talk about that and how things are going to end and there'll be no Federal Reserve, central banks will collapse and all will be rosy and gold is now back in the US dollar. None of that's true. Gold does not back the US dollar, Scarlett. Let's get one thing clear tonight. Some people just want power for its power's sake. That's it. Have no intention of actually being benevolent or ruling with humility and humbleness. Nothing like that. Just the power. I'm at the top of the tree. And those people are dangerous. There's two major conflicts that I watch intently. Nothing to do with what we're talking about. It's China's infliction to try and take back Taiwan. That worries me greatly. And insurrection in the South China Seas. They are the two hot things for me. They mean something. There's an evil Mr. Rogers. Danger, danger, Will, danger. That's going to cost you another $100 if I watch that, Scarlett. There have been many people with great intentions who have tried to stand up to the greedy, evil, dictatorial, narcissistic people I've spoke of, and most of them are buried. $100, Scarlett? No problem? Well, let's talk about China and vaccines against the Uyghur women. Not sure if any of you have followed that at all. Forced sterilisation for Uyghurs. Why? It's a genocide of sorts. Does that hit the news at any given time? Not really. No one seems to give a rat's ass. No. I don't know whether you understand where I come from. I have for 40 years realised the world's full of greedy, nasty, narcissistic, evil people who have every intent of making the average man and woman suffer at their glee. Watching videos to tell me the same thing I already know is fairly pointless. And if there's a new person screaming and shouting about injustices and they can prove it, it's something I've seen time and time again. I think what we're seeing recently, Buttercup, is just that, pushing the envelope to a certain point to see what the populace will tolerate. I agree. It's occurring in the US by sending federal troops into states. That's a test of sorts. You have to be well aware that all of us are responsible for ourselves and loved ones around us. And intuition, which you spoke of early, is something that is very important to be aware of. But the realistic facts of the matter is, if we could line all of these evil, narcissistic, greedy bastards up against a wall and end them once and for all, it would only take 30 days for their replacements to fill it. It would be, what I'm saying, an exercise in futility. Well, I would agree with you, Hammers, if they didn't wander the streets away from the federal buildings. A bit different. How would I stop the riots? I'd find out the cause of them and work backwards from there. You can never have a solution unless you understand the problem. Violence begets violence. All that will happen if Trump sends in secret services into certain parts of America is that they will fight back. Look, I could give you a dozen examples, Scarlett. Buttercup remembers the Brixton riots, and that cost the country, I can't even imagine what the billions would have been of that. And they ensured other areas to go up in flames. Well, there'll always be propaganda for and against, and there's nothing we can do about that. Some will be believed, and if you're biased in thinking, you'll believe one side and believe the other side is fake news. That's how it works. People make their minds up and go, nah, that's the real stuff and the other stuff's fake. Scarlett, I'm trying to explain for over 40 years, I know what's going on this planet, and I know if we could get rid of them all today, right now, by the end of September, they would be replaced by the same type of people. That's how it works. I don't believe in words like exposing, and I have this detailed information about what people are doing. When all that unfolds to me, I've heard it so many times. No one follows through. If they do, they're squashed by the judicial system, or they're removed and they disappear. You know lots of people that have stood up. All of you. Scarlett would know, Buttercup would know, Hammers would know. People have stood up and said, this is wrong and I can prove it, and they disappear. That's the reality. It's like there's a big party, and there's caviar and champagne and every excellent food you can imagine of, all there. The problem is, everyone in this room and I are not invited. And sadly, that's the truth. I mean, if I was given carte blanche as world leader, and only given one family to remove, just one, of what we've been speaking of, it'll be the Rothschilds. I only get one choice, and that's what I would choose, because there are many tentacles to that family that extend to many areas of the world's greed, deception, and power hungry. So if I was given one choice, it would be the Rothschilds I would remove. Hello, Nicoleska. I'm saving half a mammoth for you, just in case you pop in for dinner. You won't need a knife or fork. You just dive into the cavity and work your way out. Wonder what roast mammoth would have tasted like. Can you imagine the fire pit you'd have to build? Turn it over. We can't. It's too heavy. Probably had to cook one side one day, eat that, and roll it over for the next day. Marina Abramovich is seeds. I don't know. It sounds like a Russian spy. I think we might have to get rid of her. We're sending special services. We can fix that. No problem. Disappear. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to imagine. Mammoth would have been eaten. Everything tastes like chicken, apparently. It's like, you know, there's not much difference between an elephant and a mammoth. Mammoth a bit bigger and a lot hairier. And I watched a few documentaries how they use the bones of mammoths and built huts, a bit like the huts you'll see in Mongolia. Big furry covering, brilliant. Wonder how many mammoths to the square metre you get. Scarlett, is this a test for me, or are you just going to keep spouting names? George Soros says, there'd be another one if I had a choice. Clinton's small fry in a big pond, Scarlett. Very small fry. Get rid of Hitlery. Yeah. Maybe that was her real name all along. Rodham Hitlery. That auto-corrected. And I'm not mad. Ja, das ist gut, Nikoliska. Oh, look, the web, even though it's tangled, only goes back to a few families. Extended families, albeit by now, but just a few. I did read in the late 80s, Hammers, a book. I can't remember the name of it, but it actually indicated that the Vatican ran the mafia, which I thought was quite interesting. Yes, there's a lot of royal blood in some of these families, of course, which is handy. The Mayor of New York uses a fake name. What, like Nicoleska? You can use whatever name you like. It's law. Trust me. Oh, there's been plenty of... I read a book once also about name changing in the late 40s and 50s in the US. German names changed to Anglo names. Jewish names sounded, you know, like changed to English type names. It's been going on for decades. 24 hours in emergency. Yep, just watching the episode when Nicolescu goes in there to see the victim she bashed over the head with a new fry pan. He tried to touch me sausages. I'm not having it, I'm telling you. Yes, very much so, Nicolescu. When I was young, the church... Look, everyone in Australia in the 60s and 70s, well, I don't say everyone, I'd say 90% of people went to church. That's true. I'm not making any of that up. It's probably the same in the UK and probably the same in the US. But in Australia at the moment, that percentage is down to 3%. So 750,000 Australians go to church each week, whereas about 20 million used to go. People lost faith in the churches. Oh, I love the caramelised onion sausage. Yum, eh? Yeah, let's talk about the reasoning. And I don't mind the 10 Commandments as commandments. Don't get me wrong. I think they're a great guideline. But they also were used to control people. Let's not mistake the fact that, you know, let's be honest, the Bible, when it was first used to preach, was in Latin. And you weren't allowed to read the Bible because most people, in Old English in particular, in England, couldn't read Latin. So they just listened to the conversion from Latin to English, or Old English, if you like. And there was a lot of trouble when people started to read Latin, or when it was changed to the English language. A lot of people called heretics, and nasty things happened to them. No, I don't believe a church should be tax exempt at all. The church is run very much like a business. Do you know what they did here, Nicholas, and the rest of you? This happened in Australia, okay? And there were emails to prove what I'm saying. Priests in Australia, because no one was going to church, they treated priests just like someone losing their job. No one went to church because they weren't allowed to by the government law. So priests were being paid $1,500 a fortnight. Okay, I'm not lying to you, that's what happened. Letters from the Vatican, distributed by the diocese in Australia, said, we think you should give us that money that you're getting from the government. I kid you not. I've got cameras in my house now, Buttercup. I'll give you a link. You can see what goes on. Actually, it's only outside. You won't be able to see anything inside. Unless you want me to move the camera. I think the percentage, Scarlett, unofficially was something like about 17% of priests were doing the dirty, which is an enormous amount of priests, don't get me wrong. Which in my mind probably was a bit bigger than 17, let's say 25%. So I think 75% of priests were good people. Unfortunately, they're caught up in the maelstrom of everyone else. Oh, geez, if we went down political correctness, Nicolesca, there wouldn't be any churches existing today, if we want to go that far back. I agree. It is our responsibility to protect children. No problem with that. But trust me, Donald Trump is not the one that's doing all the fixing up, Scarlett. I remember someone saying to me, Hammers, that very thing. There was something about a wedding that was going on. It was to be done in the Catholic Church. Now, somehow, the priest didn't like the family of the groom. I'm not making this up. This is what happened. Now, at the time, this is like in a bush town, so it's 200 miles to get to another church to get married. The priest decided in his wisdom that he wouldn't marry them based on the fact he didn't like the groom's family. So what you just said is very true. They didn't get married in that church. They went 200 miles further down the line to get married. So the church has a lot to answer for. Nicole says, Buttercup, this is why I switched to Buddhism. Buddhism. It's a different religion. You don't live for what normal religions do. It's about bettering your life and those around you, being happy and doing good for others. That is the ethic to live your life. If you can live a life of peace and harmony and share that with others, it's all good. Executive orders. You do realise that they can be written off with a swipe of a pen, Scarlett. You know that, don't you? It's the discretion of the President to write executive orders, but they don't mean they stay into law. They can be changed. Yep, I have a great deal of respect for things like Hindu and Buddhism. I've been to these countries, and when you watch them in prayer, we've been to different churches. What was that church we went to in Vietnam? It was the Church of the One Eye, wasn't it? This is the name of the church, Church of the One Eye. Nick, check it up if you like. And very peaceful. However, there were strict rules. Women on one side of the room, men on the other. One thing I found interesting, because we've always given a small token of a donation, money-wise, looking for a tin to put it in or whatever when we've been to different religions and churches. And this church does not accept donations at all. Zero. So obviously they don't have a YouTube channel at the bottom. They don't accept any money. Feudalism. Is that what it's called? Okay. We talked to an older priest and a young boy, didn't we? And they were really happy to explain their philosophies and their realism in regards to how they live their lives. They weren't asking us to join. They don't do any of that at all. And it's a combination of Catholicism, bit of Hinduism, because there was lots of different things, like gods, weren't there, around. So it was a mixture of cultural religions thrown into one. What someone did, I think, was get the best of religions and threw them together, because I found them fascinating people, honest and open, and didn't want any money. What do you do when you go to a evangelical church in the US or Australia? They hand the tray around. Not once, several times. Might be some extra money in those back pockets you didn't do the first time. Never believed it in my life, ever. You'd like it, Nicole, if you went to some parts, well, not now, obviously, Southeast Asia, and all different types of religions, some loosely based on others and that. But you can see their intent is very honest and open. We went to several Buddhist, Hindu, weird ones like that one, the one eye. Oh dear, you were raised by nuns. If you get a chance to watch a guy called Dave Allen. Yes, and he went to one called the Sister of Mercy as well. You need to watch him. He's a comedian, but he'll explain some of the past he had relations with nuns. He showed me my wrongs and where I had to change. You came across Yoda, patted the green creature on his head and said, "I like you a lot, I do." Peace, inner peace, is a religion itself. Accepting some things you can't control. Letting go. Trying to do what someone said before, and that is to care about other people. Except those living in a van, obese, morbidly obese, crapping in bags. They don't need any help. Except maybe an institution might adjust some of the offending behaviour. Buttercup has found a new religion. It's a new church he started. It's called the Men in Uniform. No other females are allowed to attend, of course, but still, she can remotely broadcast it, and you'll pay a certain fee each month. But the Men in Uniform. No, I don't believe that for 1 second. None of us could reach perfection or strive for it. We've got to do with what we got, the tools we have. Trying to do something that we're not capable of doing is just extending yourself beyond your capabilities. And you're probably going to go, comeuppance is an old saying in the UK. Do the best you can with what you got. It's like my garden. I'm actually not displeased if I lose 10% of my crop to the bugs or birds. I still get 90%. But to try and achieve 100% return, I wouldn't be so ambitious to do so. If you can just be the best you. would be a great religion. Just be the best you. I don't mean sheep, unless you're a New Zealander. But I've always believed the best faith is one you have. You don't express it to other people. You just do. Can't see that happening. Even though maybe you mean to be enlightened, and Nicolescu can help you with that, but certainly not to be godlike. Yes, Scarlett, I can see you. Hang on, I've got my hands on the crystal ball. It's the year 2075. A child is born. Yes, they've named her Scarlett Clinton. Yes, she'll end up being a Democratic candidacy for the president in another 35 years. You don't get a choice about reincarnation. You could be born into a Democratic family, the Clintons. Maybe the grandchild of Chelsea, possibly. Well, more than that, Buttercup, if an animal was doing what humans were doing to our planet, we'd eradicate them. That's how bad we are. If there was an animal so destructive it was doing similar things that humans were doing, we'd eradicate that animal, saying it's best it goes because it's causing too much damage. Don't know if you remember the Nixon era, Scarlett, about how, and there were books out on it afterwards, but how Tricky and associates within the Republican Party worked on a theory called the madman theory, based on chaotic speeches, chaotic intent, what could happen, what they're going to do. It was called the madman theory. One that's being used today. Well, I'm just glad I'm a visiting tall white. You guys have mucked this planet up like I couldn't tell my people back home on my planet. They'd be ashamed. Just waiting for a ticket to ride, and you'll see a starlight in the sky. You'll be saying, oh, will that move fast? It'll be me waving goodbye, going back to my own planet, where there is peace and harmony, and the surface of our planet is covered in bacon. That's right. Yeah, that's true, Hammers. It's probably not a choice. Where the hell am I? 50 degrees Celsius, 125. Welcome to your new life, Hammers. Here, put this loincloth on. That's right, within your own life. That's correct, Nicole. It's like a translucent soul which changes and merges and gets better or worse during the process of your breathing years. I tend to think that we're randomly put in places that we're meant to be. I don't think we choose.
So that's where you and I disagree so much.
I don't see coming back to a situation as choice. I think it's directive.
No, it's choice.
Your words, you've come to learn.
It's choice because there's lessons you've got to learn, and if you don't learn them the first time round, you keep coming back. Your soul knows, and depending how much spiritual you are, you will know whether you're going to come back again.
We evolve within our lifetime.
And we choose where.
Like Nicole said.
Yeah.
It's your evolution, if you like,
occurs within your life.
Yeah, but also you choose where you go because of lessons or experiences.
Here we
you
go.
want to
Both
have.
girls, Scarlett and but I agree with Mystic.
Yeah. 'cause
Totally
we-
dismissing seeds. No,
Yes, because we've
no. If
talked-
Mystic said, yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, agree with
because
her.
we've talked about it before. That's like I said. You will never.
You women are showing your true colours,
You
and as
will-
such, at rebirth, I will dictate where you go. Hammers is not going to the Sub-Sahara, but Buttercup and Scarlet are. That's right. Welcome to Bahrain for one of you, and one, Sudan in the middle of summer. Ah, see, that's a perception, because the woman was always right. You sure about that, Scarlett? Doesn't sound a little bit just tiny sexist for a moment?
You should always acknowledge, communicate, and appreciate.
The thing is that none of us would have existed unless there was a man and a woman that preconceived us. So we are the culmination of our genetics, which don't just come from a woman, they come from a man as well. That's how it works. I don't know, I did biology, so I can tell you that is a fact. So, yin and yang, I mean, is it right? Is it right that the woman pulled the apple from the tree, Scarlett? If a woman was always right, why did she do that? Yeah, it doesn't. Look, the truth is, Nicole, whether you believe in the Bible or whether you believe in Charles Darwin, we all have to come from somewhere. And if we go back in time, we would all been related.
You have deja
Adam and Eve, isn't it, Scarlett? Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. She said, oh, I'm a bit tired of this, Adam. I'm going over to that tree.
I don't really.
And women are always right, so I'm going to pick this bloody apple and we'll be good to go. You see how women were even demonised in religion?
Well, God shouldn't have put the tree there to start with.
I agree, but the woman was demonised. And as such, when you give birth to a child, of course, normally it wouldn't hurt, but there's been no children born since you picked the apple, so you'll be in pain. How did it work that out? How does all of a sudden that you're going to be in pain giving birth to children when no children had been born to give a level playing field? Like, what was it like before the apple was picked? We'll never know because there were no kids born. Nature is our mother. The moon is a female. I don't know about that. There's a dark side to the moon. I suppose you're right then. If there's a dark side to the moon, then we can say it can be a woman. Is that what you're suggesting, Scarlett? You know, is that where we're going with that? The moon has the same cycle as a woman. Well, not really. We all have a resonance around it. It's called 7%. The Earth resonates at 7%, so does the moon, so do most planets within our galaxy, and so do we. We have a resonance. Yeah, that's how you could summarise it. Nail on the head there, Adam. Adam took the easy way out. Yep, unpick the apple then, it's your fault. Well, like I say, there's a resonance between the moon and the earth and people. It's a balance. It's a true thing too. It's not me making it up. If you had the scientific tools, you could pick up the resonance. And we are in tune with our planet and the moon. And as little tadpoles coming out of the oceans, Charles Darwin said when he went to the Galapagos Islands, he went, geez, this is what must have happened. So as little slugs, we came out and turned into other things, and then big things, and then human type things.
But some people just stayed as slugs.
Yeah, some people just stayed as slugs. Do you know the DNA, what's the best word to use? Relationship between animals on this planet, including us. The difference between a chimpanzee and a human. What would be the percentage of DNA that the chimp is equal to us? Does anyone know? Staggering, actually.
I know.
DNA. How much? Spot on, Hammers.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
98% DNA, the same with us.
And the jellyfish
And yet-
is 99% water.
That's true. And yet, the chimpanzee is as evolved perfectly as we are evolved perfectly. A snail is evolved perfectly. And people say, well, if evolution was true, wouldn't each animal want to become human? No. Yeah, it is 98. Butters and Hammers got in before you, but yeah, that's how close we are. And we're like pigs, it's something like 94%. So we eat 94% of what we are when we have bacon and eggs. But all the species are evolved perfectly to their form today. It doesn't mean a slug is going to turn into a human. It doesn't mean a chimpanzee will suddenly start playing the piano and running for president. Mind you, there's a simian resemblance between the one that runs it now and a chimpanzee. But it's staggering when you think about the closeness. And strangely enough, within the human species, there's been on record, anthropologists and scientists agree, 14 humanoid species on the planet. 14. We just happen to be Homo sapien, and we were the one that evolved the best, adapted the best, etc., learned to eat everything. If you want to talk about an omnivore, there's certain animals that are omnivores, but the biggest omnivore on our planet is us. We eat anything and everything. That is why we survived. If it wasn't for meat-eating species of our ancestors, our brains wouldn't have developed, well, some of our brains today wouldn't have developed to the level they are now. Protein from meat, red meat. Well, I am one, Nicolaska. So I can say that because no one will believe me. I am a tall white. I come from a far distant planet where the surface is covered in bacon.
See, the word
So you won't believe me, and it is bacon.
Fake. God. Alien is a really weird word, but yes, I do believe there's other intelligent lives. We are not the only thing. There's other dimensions, other things not far from us, a couple of steps
It
up
would be a
and over.
Titan. No, I'm quite happy to buy people meals and stuff like that. I'm not going to be a Titan.
Yeah.
I think that, I know it sounds dismissive, but it's irrelevant. We have a very small galaxy in the picture of things. And within our own galaxy, what they call the Goldilocks distance between a sun and planets, we have thousands and tens of thousands of them within our own galaxy. And our galaxy is like a pin drop in the picture of the universe. So it's not that they can be defined today as, do they exist? The answer is, yeah, they have to exist. No question. Maybe at different levels of evolution or way beyond our means of concept of thought today. Well, us tall whites are quite big. I'm a dwarf from my planet. I'm only 6'5". Some of the ancestors that came here many, many centuries ago, you found their bones. You know those pictures on YouTube with 12 feet tall skeletons? Yeah, that's family of mine from way back. That's true. No, that is true. The stamina of a human being is staggering. Well, we could probably say, and I think most of you would agree with me, from the 1850s to the 1950s, most of the things that developed are staggering. From the 1950s to the 2020s, not so impressive. if you get what I mean. You know, for the last 70 years, what much has changed? Developments, of course, and vaccines, and etc., and cars and planes, but the point of my conjecture is we had a burst from the 1850s to the 1950s, and after that, little bits happened. Yeah, the internet's been around for a very long time in one form or another. Well, I don't think they've hidden much.
Yes, they have, because some people just can't handle certain knowledge. Too much
Oh, I
knowledge
don't
will
believe that.
fry some people's
If
brains.
the world leaders came out tomorrow and say, we have aliens living amongst us, please don't kill them. They've been living amongst us for the last 300
I'm
years.
talking spiritually.
I love the Vatican because Vatican had this subject. Anyway, I don't love the Vatican, but I love the Vatican on this subject. In the late 1990s, the Vatican came out with a statement suggesting that there could possibly be life in distant galaxies. These are their words, not mine. But they assured the people of Earth that God would be amongst all of them. They were having an each-way bet. Do you see where I'm going with that? In the late 1990s, the Vatican said there could be life on other planets and distant galaxies, but God will be with them as well. Yeah, me hammers go way back. We used to do rocks and tins and string. We could communicate, but every now and then he'd double clang the rock, and I thought he said, bring bread. But all he wanted was another bottle of scotch. So it wasn't great internet back in the old days. You can have free energy today, Buttercup.
Well, no, not everybody can.
No, but you can have free energy. There's a huge void between need and consumption. In other words, people will spend enormous amounts of money on electricity freely. 400 a month, 500 a month, they do that. Yet, they could harness energy from the sun, the wind, from many forms, and not pay for it. But it is still beyond a lot of thought processes of people. In the future, there will be no fossil fuel used, Buttercup. Probably not in our future, but in the future, there'll be no fossil fuel. When people land in Australia, one of the things they do comment is that everywhere I look down, there are solar panels. Everywhere. My city has the most solar panels, I believe, in the world. It's definitely in Australia. There will be technologies that they will develop, ion-driven motors, all sorts of things, earth-driven, whatever it will be in the future. It should be free, but will it? Well, if they've killed us all off by then, Buttercup, then it's left back to the chimp. And then we'll have the planet of the apes. I've been hearing the same argument, Georgia Guidestones, etc., for 40 years. How are they going to reduce the population? Well, when I was born, there was 2-point-something billion people on the planet. Now there's over 7 heading towards 8. Whoever's running this genocidal plan to reduce the population has failed miserably. Yeah, what if the ape has a bear with it as well? Sounds like Jungle Book. You could be that little king of the jungle. Do, 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 do. If the population was to be reduced, it should have started well over 40 years ago. And I'm thinking, shit, there's only 3-point-something million people here. Now we're going to be reduced to 500 million. Yeah. However, 2020, getting close to 8 billion people. So they're failing miserably. Proper scientists have said probably by the year 2070, we'll peak at about 11 to 12 billion people. And then the planet does a balancing act. It will start to fall. In other words, it becomes unsustainable. The main reason of all of this is H2O. It's as simple as that. Oh, we can control ours, Hammers. Our country burnt to the ground. It's like some of you, Nicole's only a young teenage girl, so she wouldn't remember, but landing on the moon. Remember August 1969? I remember sitting on the front lawn of some bloke's place with 50 other people watching a 12-inch black and white television set in total awe. Man stood on the moon. Neil Armstrong said, "One step for man, one giant leap for chimpanzee." I remember it to this day.
You're right.
And
I had the measles.
as a boy, after that, I'm thinking, geez, we'll be colonizing Mars and going beyond Alpha Centauri. It's going to be fantastic. What happened? Like I said before, nothing. But people say we never went to the moon. Yet, you can get to an observatory with a very strong telescope. You can see some of the crap we left behind. Unless there are aliens on the moon, and that's their crap. All right, you're 32. You're twice a teenager.
I had the measles when the man landed on the moon.
Oh, I was 10 heading towards 11 when I watched it. I was in awe, Hammers. It was just staggering to believe.
Oh God, how young's Hammers?
When we looked up in the sky, actually it was the Canberra telescope that gave everyone around the world the pictures because they relayed them. We looked up in the sky and the moon was there in daytime. I'm being serious with you. It was there. You know, you can see it sometimes. And we're looking on the television. And Neil Armstrong's jumping out, up and down, carrying on like a pork chop. We all thought as kids, we will all be astronauts. We will colonize all these planets. And what happened? Nothing. You'll get conspiracy theorists saying, yes, we've been warned away from the moon. Or you get other people saying, no, we never left the atmosphere because the belt will kill us. Right? How are those people doing the International Space Station? They're just below the belt, possibly. Well, they're building up the space station to be much bigger for a launching pad run by the private enterprise of Mr. Musk, who's been sending up rockets for the US, building them, successfully getting to the space station and back. Brilliant. Jump is too big if you do the math. Well, it doesn't explain the junk on the moon, Hammers.
The jump.
Junk.
No, he said the jump.
He's talking about the distance between the Earth and the moon. So if man never went to the moon, what's that shit doing up there? That sort of breaks up the barrel a little bit. And you can see it. I can't see it because I haven't got a big telescope. People tell me they've seen it many times. Apparently you can see the original rover, which I thought was pretty cool when you saw it bouncing around the stage set in Arizona. I mean, on the moon. Well, distance doesn't seem a problem for the latest probe heading towards the sun. We've already seen some extraordinary pictures come back from 48 million miles away from the sun, but it's going to get a lot closer over the next ensuing years, apparently. Like little fireside crackers they were.
I don't want to go to the moon anyway. I don't want to go
Fly
to
me to the moon.
I don't want to go to Mars.
Mm-hmm.
What if you go to Mars, you shrink or something, or you can't come back?
I think what would happen if we did colonise Mars, and this is just my theory, the humans would evolve. They may suffer for several generations, but they would evolve. There was that brilliant experiment between the two American people, one who was the astronaut, the twin who stayed behind, because he wasn't an astronaut. But they did the blood tests and they said without a doubt there had been changes within the DNA of the one that had been in space. Bloods were different. There was a lot of differences that occurred within that 1 year, or more, I think it was more than a year. So they're realities. The fact is that space does affect the human body in a fairly big way. You should turn to your statue of Buddha and say, Buddha, should I consume more sausage?
No, you get the taste.
And Buddha would say, no, don't do it. You want to be buried on the ground from which I came. As long as it's not the Sub-Sahara, you'd be right, Amos. Yes, there is that, of course. There is a food edict in Buddhism, which I'm not sure if you found that chapter yet, Nicole. Maybe you just tear them pages out, and they never existed. Was it Boris that said this week, Nicole? He started jogging, and he's not going to body shame anyone, but Britons need to lose a bit of weight or a little bit obese. Yes, and I'm going to paddle my little arse across the fields with my dogs, and I'm going to become taut and terrific. You haven't spoken to Boris this week, all right? He's probably just waiting for your call. Yeah, he's talking about losing weight, making Britain less obese, but not going to body shame anyone, even though he's already used the words. Be interesting how Boris goes. I see about 2 months' time, Boris will turn to his missus, oh, fuck it, give me some more dumplings. Maybe. It's Boris calling you, love. Just tell him to wait. I'll call him when I'm ready. Probably the years I didn't like in English politics, by far, was the Thatcher years. Did your mum ever tell you about the poll tax, Nicole? Where the residential property values didn't mean a damn thing, and a rich man would be paying the same as a poor man under the poll tax. Unfortunately, that meant the lifting of rates for the people that didn't have much money, something like 300 quid a year at the time, when some people were paying 20 and 40, and that was the end of Thatcher. You ask about it one day, she'll tell you. Say, Mum, what was this poll tax all about? It was trying to make the rich man pay next to nothing and the poor man pay things he couldn't afford. And in the end, Margaret Thatcher's own cabinet sacked her. It wasn't done from outside. It was done within her own cabinet saying, we're going to have our country burned to the ground. You have to go. In general, just ask your mother about the Thatcher years. She'll explain how she wanted to make the working man a slave. Give him nothing, take him nowhere.
And make him pay.
Poll tax, it was so polarising in the UK.
Like my house
Is that-
bedroom tax, Nicole.
The what?
A bedroom tax.
They introduced the bedroom tax. Yes, no, that's true.
Oh, it's like a TV tax. The window.
Every time you have sex, you have to pay 10 quid.
The window tax. You paid.
Yeah, no, in the old days,
How many windows?
you'd have to ask your grandmother this one, but they used to charge people for the size of the windows for the amount of light that was let into their homes, Nicole, in the UK.
And TV tax.
No, that polarised the whole country. Scots ended up liking the other English people that thought the poll tax was shit as well. I swear to you, what I saw was the start of a revolution in the UK, and it ended with Maggie Thatcher getting her ass kicked out of politics. I always find it funny. When I was a kid, Nicole, this is the cry. I don't know if Buttercup ever ever heard it, but it would be someone up the street saying, "The van's coming!" Which meant one thing, everyone unplugged their tellies.
Yeah.
And most aerials were hidden in chimneys, Nicole, so the buggers couldn't see them. Yeah, in the old days they used to charge you. That's why you see a lot of small windows in poorer districts that are still standing, and not so big ones in middle class type buildings, and even not very big ones in rich people's places, because you were charged on the size of your damn window. They'll tax you for anything. I don't think that'll work. The BBC, it's institutionalised. It'd be a brave parliament to say to deregulate it for sure. Well, fortunately today you can go to your television, Nicoleska, and turn on, I don't know, 40 free-to-air channels, maybe 60. When I was a kid, there was one channel. One. And when I was a real kid in the UK, the most used item in anyone's home was the radio. Well, I've watched the BBC over the years expand. If I did anything in the UK, I'd say we can keep BBC One, but that's it. Well, it's used to pay for the service. You didn't say you were going, Scarlett,
Yes, she did.
did she?
Yes.
Get a defence lawyer.
That's why she got stars. Because she said she was going.
Michael
and she's
Cohen
come
can
back.
probably help you while he's out.
So
Well,
you
it's
missed
a service
half
you
the
don't
chat.
want now, but in the 60s, you wanted it. All these taxes, and the UK has always had a shitty history of crappy taxes. There are all weird taxes in your country. I could do a whole hangout based on British taxes, because some of them are just absurd. Oh, so now it's a far left media outlet. No right wings in the BBC at all? Just all left?
Probably.
Is it part of the criteria to get a job there? Do you believe in the left wing? Well, if I say yes, do I get the job? Yeah, you do. All right, I believe in the left wing.
I believe in the blanket show shortly.
But there are no balanced news outlets. Scarlett, you told me that. Zero. None. Yeah, it's a bit nitpicky, isn't it? Because you supported Brexit. Well, any media outlet paid for by the people should be unbiased. Simple. Bill Gates funds the BBC. Never heard that one before. So that means it has to all be left wing, but with a right wing agenda, if you're Bill Gates. Oh, I've got to take the old power cord out of this phone and chuck her into the other one.
Well, where's the other cord?
Oh, it doesn't matter. That one's fully charged. That's good.
And it's hurt him on twisting it.
Well, you can solve all your problems, Nicole, and Buttercup and Scarlett. You just come to Australia.
And have all you lot in the one room? How you?
Yeah.
No.
Top to toe in
I'm
bedroom
just
2.
kidding. Just kidding. That'd be cool having everybody in the one room. I'll just
I don't know
hand
which
it-
side of the bed Scarlett would sleep. Would it be the right-hand side or the left-hand
I
side?
will just hand chocolate out and scotch or bourbons or whatever. Red wine.
Yeah, a little country like Australia, giving it to the CCP. I'm proud of them. We've got some toy battleships going around the South China Sea, firing Vegemite at them. It's confusing the hell out of them. But if Boris even thinks about sending one jar of Marmite to Australia, the colonial wars are back on. Yeah, it's good stuff. You could knock at any house in Australia, Nicole, and say, have you got any Vegemite? They go, yeah. How many buckets do you want? We buy, I don't know what size jar you buy, but we usually buy half a kilo. It disappears pretty quick. I think I might make them a nice chicken dish tomorrow.
Make her a chicken dish.
Yeah. Something nice and easy and tasty. Well, we'll have some as well, don't get me wrong.
Mark's home tomorrow.
Yeah, but she likes a good feed. One thing you'll do when you do arrive here, of course, you'll eat well.
Yeah, give you someone else to cook for.
You've got to try just one slice of bread, Nicole, buttered well, real butter, none of that shit called whatever it's called, and put a good dollop of Vegemite on one side and whack a thick slice of cheese in there. Trust me, it'll be your go-to. Oh, I'm hungry, what can I have? One of them.
I think Vegemite and Marmite.
Massive nutritional value.
Yeah, and
It's got all the vitamin Bs for your body,
Yeah, I think Marmite does
niacin,
as well.
riboflavin. So I even know what's in it. It's good for you. Marmite should be used for road covering. It's terrible stuff.
That's just because we don't like the taste. It's like people who don't like Vegemite.
It's punishment. It's what the old English used to do to their children. Children, if you're not going to be good, you're going to have Marmite on toast. No, mother. I've heard of Vegemite. For God's sake, don't force us to eat Marmite.
How much is our Vegemite?
You just really do need to read the label. It's staggering. Vitamin B's are not in a lot of foods, B12 particularly. Look, even for vegetarians, in Australia, their big onset is to go for Vegemite because it has B12, which you can't get if you're a vegetarian from anything else. Maybe you could smear the inside of the mask, Scarlett, with Vegemite.
Oh yeah.
Sort of killing two birds with one stone.
I would wear it.
You could just lick your way through the whole shopping centre. Delicious Vegemite flavour. And it's probably going to be a cure for COVID-19. You might be on the cusp of being a multi-billionaire.
Do you remember when I said that video? Actually, that should. I wonder where that is so I can forward that.
It's on your channel.
It's got a lot of swearing in it. No, it's in one of the messages.
Oh, is it?
I think I sent it to you.
Yeah, that's pretty good value. We probably pay for 500 gram, the big jar, $10, about $9.
Oh, yeah. I don't.
The
think
big jar.
I don't think Vegemite's that cheap, but we still
Oh,
buy it.
it's not bad, really.
That
220 gram would last us in our house a week and a bit.
that video I think is somewhere on your WhatsApp.
But one of those weird things, Nicole, if you could import a few shipping containers full of it and go around the shopping centres, do the taste test, particularly with a bit of bread, cheese and Vegemite, you'll find you could be a multi-billionaire. You'll have a rose on every cheek of your body. Because that's the old ad. A rose on every cheek. Two weeks, sounds about right. So you do put it on a reasonable thickness. You're not smearing it on like the wife does. I layer mine on. But a piece of bread, buttered, Vegemite and cheese. Takes you 2 seconds to make. Sitting at the computer all night, banging away on the keyboards. You would think, I'm hungry. I don't want to cook something. Vegemite and cheese.
I don't know if I'd sent it to you. Tell Nicole I just sent her something in WhatsApp.
Quiet. Scarlett's on the phone to the White House.
What?
Yes, she said. Damn phone again. It'd be the conversation like, do you think I should keep telling them and it's just going to go away?
She got it. I'm trying to find this other one.
What's that?
This other video.
Is it the Vegemite video you're talking about?
No, I just sent her something else.
Who, Nicole?
Yeah.
All right. Company coming. Is it a big, large black limousine with a couple of police escort in front, Scarlett? I understand. We'll call Scarlett's place Camp David. You're welcome. Have a good day.
Who's gone? Because I'm not in the room.
Oh, here we go. They're both going at the same. Here we go. Buttercup, I'm going to start a conspiracy theory up for sure.
Who's going? I'm not in the room.
A gentleman caller.
Ah.
Love is in the air. Every time I am at the door. Man in uniform. Coming for a call. Booty call. I haven't seen something for a while, Buttercup, and I wasn't going to mention it, but I'm going to, because I'm doing a crap load of work in my garden tomorrow. Where's me damn pictures?
Yes, you've got a lot. I have to go back on your. There you go. That's what Nicole sent me.
Oh, yeah, they're good. They're the small ones.
220, yeah.
No, I'm talking about, talking about your garden. You promised me photographs from the harvest. And yet, mine's invariably more intelligent than ours. I've been studying your garden and the envious eyes they have. Woo, woo, woo.
Alright, so. Buttercup and Scarlet have gone. Alright, have good. No uniforms, Buttercup. I don't want to know then. I told you to take us with you. when you answer the door, Buttercup.
As slim as the pickings may be, you know I'm interested in your crop.
Let's go.
I did once see it in a supermarket. It was a promotional thing, but it was a 5 kilo jar of Vegemite. And I asked the storekeeper years ago, "Is that real?" He said, "Yeah, it's real. We're not even allowed to sell it. It's got to go back to the company."
Well, what's the point of
5
that?
kilo, which works out to be 11 pound of Vegemite. Courgette, peas, lettuce, strawberries, blueberries. That's a crop. That's a harvest. That will feed you for at least a day. Yeah, 5 kilo. Woo. Peanut butter is very cheap here. 500 grams is about $2.50. Crunchy stuff. Extra crunchy stuff or the smooth stuff. No, I don't like the smooth stuff. My wife does, but I like a bit of... I like to feel the nuts in my mouth as I'm chomping down on the peanut
No,
butter.
I like smooth peanut butter.
Peanut butter Vegemite. Actually, that is a thing here.
That's my grandson's
Yeah,
favourite.
that's the thing here, trust me.
Yeah.
And our granddaughter today had, what did she have?
Jam and cheese.
Jam and cheese sandwiches.
And I love Vegemite and cheese. Have you had Vegemite and cheese sandwich, Nicole?
I've just been mentioning that to her.
I didn't hear.
It's the go-to.
I'm half asleep.
You got to cut cheese about a 1/4 inch thick, Nicole. Don't do those slices,
All right, see
plastic
you, Bucky.
cheese. Real cheese. Cheddar.
What's wrong? Cheese.
You
Jam.
have to get bread,
That's just
good dose of butter, thick piece of cheese and Vegemite. Not melted, just normal.
no.
None of that plastic cheese.
No,
Real
It's
cheese.
got to be real, like nice, tasty cheese, like a nice
Cheddar.
not- yeah,
One
not-
that you cut with a knife. We
Not-
buy our cheese in kilos.
You can get fake cheese you can cut with a knife.
I'm going to have to do a video and put it up and say, here,
proper tasty,
Vegemite and cheese sandwich.
proper tasty cheese, Nicole. Oh no, don't melt it. Just make a Vegemite and cheese sandwich and jam and cheese. Yum.
Yeah, Kiwis like Vegemite.
Jam and cheese tastes good.
Says, as a cheese go, I like rich cheeses, like with fruit and things like that, pickles. But when it comes to a Vegemite sandwich, just cheddar, tasty cheddar, 1/4 inch thick, quite thick, Vegemite, bread and butter. Trust me, you'll be on the keyboard at 3 in the morning and you'll be going, oh, that's right, I can make a cheese and Vegemite sandwich.
You'll be surprised, Nicole, how good it tastes.
Might even go and make one and do a little video before I go to bed.
Honestly, it is yum.
You'll love it, Hammers. Wrap your laughing gear around a cheese and Vegemite sandwich and you'll think you're in heaven.
You either love it or you hate it. It's as simple as that. There's no in between with Vegemite. It's the same as there's no in between with Marmite. And there's no in between with Nutella either.
No, I don't like Nutella. I don't like Marmite. Yet I'm the one that would go down early in the morning on a Monday after a roast beef, if we're lucky enough to have one, and I'll be getting all the lard and putting it on some fried bread.
Look, I used to eat tomato sauce.
Delicious.
Tomato sauce sandwiches. I absolutely hate tomato sauce now.
Actually, you know you get when you have a roast beef, you have that lard form. Well, when you take it off, underneath is all that black stuff. That is beef extract. It's not the same as Vegemite, but it has a similar taste. We probably have sent 30 or 40 people Vegemite, and I think 1 or 2 have gone, oh, I can't stand it, it's terrible. The rest have gone, geez, this stuff's good.
When we were on our European trip, I took a heap of those little Vegemites with me for when we were on the tour with the bus
I
people.
remember your auntie looking at it going, what is this?
And I gave some to all the people that were on the tour with us, and it went half-half. There was one or two that just refused
Canadians
to
loved it.
try. Yeah.
Few of the Americans thought, what, this looks bad.
No, but they took,
I'm not going to eat that damn thing, it
but
looks
they
bad.
took extra with them to let their family try it.
Mm. But like I say, it's a staple in Australia. Kids don't have jam on toast in the morning, they have Vegemite.
It is an acquired taste.
The best way it was ever described to me was by a lady who said it's bittersweet.
Salty.
And I get it, it is salty. But she said the flavour is unique and I love it, but it's like bitter at the same time. Anyway, I think I should shoot off and make a Vegemite and cheese sandwich, video it and put it up. Instructional video, of course, for the uninitiated. Rear Window. Oh, you're watching old movies, Nicole. Some old movies are great movies, some of them, they really are. Tastes like fermented squash bugs to me. Hammers, you got to stop eating them fermented squash bugs. Stick to Vegemite. Old movies are good. I still love watching silent movies because the skill and expression to deliver the message is funny. Maybe I should do a black and white silent movie on the Vegemite. That'd be funny. Anyway, we'll go and do that. I'm going to have myself a Vegemite and cheese sandwich. I'm going to do a little video within about 15 to 20 minutes.
It'll be up.
It'll be up. Yes, do a silent movie where Mystic is hiding the body.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Holmes? Holmes? Yes, Watson, what do you want? Nicole's buried another body. You can tell it's a Nicole murder because she leaves a calling note of a smear of Vegemite on their ass. Yes. We must catch this woman before the next victim. Bum, ba-da-bum, bum. All right. Enjoy your day, wherever you are. Stay tuned. In 15 to 20 minutes, there will be a Vegemite and cheese sandwich, which I know won't excite most of you. But some people will come across it and go, oh my God, that's how you make it.
Nice.
So from Princess Yawn a lot
Yep.
and the hairy ogre, I'm going to make a Vegemite cheese sandwich. It's going to be sensational. It may change the world. Yeah, maybe I should send the White House some Vegemite. Might be a cure-all. Stay tuned.